Welcome to another episode of Toby's Stupid Vlog.
Hello.
Welcome to
Terminal
Entrance Door 2,
yes.
Washington Dulles International Airport, where we've been inside here for the last 3 hours, or so it feels like.
Get close up of Josh's face. This is what this is.
I didn't have an eye issue before that customs.
Yeah, I
Josh
know.
has only got one eye left.
Yeah, I mean that's the ordeal.
Proper pirate. Yeah, we're now waiting for an Uber to take us downtown. Look, America.
I remember that video. Yeah. You remember it? Oh, the one of my bobbly head. We made it, Toby. We made it.
I don't think we have for myself.
Good morning from Washington D.C. The sun is rising, my body clock is screwed, and I think I got about 6.5 hours sleep, which is pretty good. The flight was boring, but that's not a bad thing necessarily. Customs was an absolute nightmare. It took us a good hour and a bit of queuing to get through, and it's just, you know, idiotic. And then we got a cab with a guy called Jim, and we got here, checked in, and I went straight to bed. And that was about midnight local time, which is like about 4:30 UK time. Because we're in a weird situation where the US is in daylight saving time and the UK isn't yet. So there we go. It's about 7:30 in the morning. I'm still quite tired, but you know, we've got the morning to go and explore. So I'm going to go downstairs, sort out the Wi-Fi, and then we're going to go for a bit of breakfast and a walk. The sun is up. Everybody's up. I'm going for a walk down to the mall and maybe see Capitol Building, White House, Washington Monument, you know, Lincoln, that kind of thing. It's quite a nice day. It's very cold, but it's very crisp, and the whole thing is completely surreal.
Hi Toby.
Hi, James.
Discussing whether K-walking is the Korean version of J-walking.
Yes, it is. We've got 25 seconds, 23 seconds. Hesitation is death.
Oh look, the first Starbucks I've seen in the whole time we've been here.
Yeah, we've done the whole 100 metres in the amount of Starbucks. So, this is Chamber of Commerce, and you can probably make out the monument behind the tree, behind James's stupid face. His stupid face, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn his stupid face!
We're thinking about renaming this episode of Toby's Stupid Vlog to James'
His stupid face. Small, if you're watching, if you could re-sing that would be great. There is a White House, I can see it right there. It's looking there, it's not that big, but it is a house and it is white. Which is odd because the inhabitant is orange, so there we go. We're posing for terrible photos. So there you go, it's a White House. I've seen it in the televisions. I'm just going to see how much of it I can obstruct with Josh's head. There we go. It's not that busy today, actually. I mean, there's, you know, people around, what have you. President's probably not there because he's a lazy fucker. But there's plenty of other people.
I didn't even have to get a picture.
So that over there, I believe, is the old executive office building, because obviously there was nowhere near enough room in the White House to conduct all the executive functions in the last, 100 years, frankly. So that's built a massive extra office. I'm not sure that it's still used for that, but it's just still used for some part of government. The house itself is not massive, the front-facing part anyway. They've got obviously 2 wings, one on each side for residential and what have you. And so the monument's behind, so we're probably going to go and walk down the Mall next and have a look at all that shenanigans. This is the back of the White House. I mean, you can't see a lot from this far away, to be perfectly honest. There's one of the wings, and you can see a flag on top of the building. And you can see the executive office building there. And a lot of imitation White Houses. Charlotte started calling them buildings of a similar era. Right, so this is the Washington Monument. You can't probably get a feel for the scale of this from this far away. We'll try and get closer and then you'll have a better idea.
Oh, I can see it. It's so blue, yeah.
We saw Blue Jay as well, which is...
There's more blue jays. You can't see them. They're probably but a pixel on that camera.
Let's go full zoom.
There it is, flying.
No, you're right. Even with 6x zoom, I'm just pixelated.
Yeah.
There we go. The back of the White House looking out towards the monument. And there's loads of people here this Sunday morning doing a bit of sport, a bit of exercise, what have you. So it's St. Patrick's Day is the other thing that is probably causing some mild chaos here today and tonight. People in the States all think they're Irish, even though most of them aren't, even slightly. They take it much more seriously than almost everyone except for the Irish themselves. It's very odd. Like, you'd think that they'd have their own patron saint, but no. So anyway, this on my right is the Washington Monument. It's quite big, isn't it? It's so big that I can't really get it in a shot, so we're going to keep walking until we can find a space we can take a photo of it. Just coming around the World War II Memorial. The fountains have no water in at the moment. Slightly weird. There's the monument. And here is the reflecting pool, which looks down to, what's his name? Lincoln, sitting in a big chair in that, down there. So Abe's in the house. And then the Capitol building seems to get bigger the further away from it we get, which is weird. We might go down there on a scooter anyway. Just hogging the limelight, checking out Abe in his business class seats. Oh, I have some respect for the stone man. He's dead. Look at that. It's pretty good, isn't it? Here we are, many scooterings later. We've come about 2.5 miles down the Mall to the other end, which is where the Capitol building is. Look at that.
Very grand.
It's a goddamn Capitol building, isn't it? It's impressive. It's a shame that there's sort of such a low level of competence, but you know, what can you do? Government isn't that great nowadays. That's just how it is. But the building's awesome, so that's something. Now we're looking back the other way. Look, see, that's where we were. That's where Big Honest Abe is. His little house down there. And there's the monument. And this is where, you know, legislation happens and that. It is a very large building, and you can see why a lot of the photos you see of it sort of fisheye lens stuff. Yeah, it's quite grand, doesn't it? It does strike me as slightly weird in so much as there, as I was talking about with James earlier, like the architecture is very much reminiscent of people trying to recreate Rome. You know, that idea of like, what's a grand empire look like? It looks like Rome, so we're going to, even though it's, you know, 1800s, we're going to make it look as Roman as possible. Which is, you know, well, I don't think there's a comparison societally. It's always essentially what Nazi Germany was trying to do with Berlin. It's just that idea of big and grand is better. It's a bit, you know, it's a bit dated now, to be honest, but it does look impressive, like for tourists coming along and seeing your capital. It has a striking impact. It doesn't really reflect kind of doesn't really accurately reflect the society of the time, though. That's what's slightly odd, but and I guess none of these things really ever do. We're trying to establish lunch spots now. I'm just wandering around the bowels of a massive conference hotel, which is our hotel. This is the below where the guest suites are. The pool, bizarrely, is right at the far end of one of the wings. I'm not sure it's open because the bit I found was outdoors, so it probably isn't. I'm just going to see if I can see into the main ballroom, because on the map it looks ridiculous inside. Actually, it's not that big, but it's impressive. I think this is where we're doing the presentations tomorrow. Time will tell. I better go find everyone else so we can work out where we're going to meet up, because I believe all the American delegates are now here, or they should be in the next hour, so we got to set up cameras and things and whatnot.
For that reason, a video game interface seems to be fitting visual to bring. You don't have to say that. I didn't like that line, but the idea is at this point you walk off behind the screen. Ready GPT players, game on for 2019.
So we've kind of found a way. There's loads of embassies around here. I don't know what they necessarily are. This one looks like the French flag. I don't know what that is.
That's the embassy of Burma.
Oh, is that Burma?
Yeah.
And what's the blue one next? So that's Burma, Myanmar, or whatever. I feel like the Americans have just put a load of fake embassies here to make him feel better. Oh no, I recognise that. Uruguay, no.
What is it? El Salvador.
El Salvador. Nice. Hi. So we just saw a lot of embassies. I didn't realise which part of town we're actually staying in, but literally just over that way. So I'm looking kind of north. So west of us, pretty much. I should say where we are. We're in the Washington Hilton. We're in northwest area of Washington. Georgetown is west of us, across the river. But as you head towards Georgetown, you go through all the embassies. It's fascinating. We must have seen about 100 beautiful old buildings, went past Woodrow Wilson's house, had a bit of a wander whilst they were filming downstairs. And it's a beautiful day. I mean, I'm slightly gutted I got to work, if I'm honest. It's too nice to be indoors. Last thing to note, vanity check. Right, depending on which way I face, it really has a dramatic effect on how grey I look. So like, quite grey, agreed? Yeah, right. Not very grey here, very grey here. It's the lighting, I promise you. It's mostly the lighting. Let's go into the dark. Oh look, Toby's actually got quite dark hair. Isn't that weird? It's the iPhone camera. Yeah, honestly, I mean, a bit. So it's just about midnight. We still haven't finished, believe it or not. We're down in this room downstairs, still putting together a video for tomorrow morning. It's a bit of a nightmare. Been down there for absolutely ages. As you might imagine, I think we got into that room at about... When did we first have meetings? Maybe about 4:30, 5 o'clock. We started putting things together. As I said, midnight coming up. So... I wish I could say this was unusual, but it just isn't. For this particular project, it's always like this. So I better check on him. So the room itself that we've been working in is down here. It's a massive conference hotel, as I mentioned earlier, and it's in a weird sort of S shape. It's a couple of massive curves. So we've been walking backwards and forwards on this corridor like all day. Oh, let's hope this is nearly done, because I'm totally shattered. And you just reach a point where you're just like, I don't care about this enough to stay awake. I know it's important, but I just need to sleep. So they're just doing sync things between the sound and the pictures, video recorded earlier, and the original animation that was made a few days ago. And then I've got to go and put a load of audio on it, which our original deadline was 8 PM, so 4 hours ago. So that's worked really well. Here we are, Oak Lawn. Hello.
Probably vlogging at midnight.
Alright, mate.
Yeah. Crap on a stick.
That sounds strange.
Because,
Your ears aren't working. How's it going?
We've got a fun job for you to do.
Great.
look at the time here versus the time back home.
What's the time back home? 4:01. I don't want to know that. That's terrible. Good morning. We have been in rehearsals this morning for a couple of hours. Never have rehearsals needed more. Last night, I think got to bed about 12:30. I can't remember if I spoke to you. I don't know. We're in a room for a long, long time, and it's just exhausting, to be honest. So we haven't seen daylight yet today. I'm sure the sun came up like about 5 hours ago. We're going to go off and get lunch at some point, and then this kicks off properly at 1 o'clock. Yay. Yeah, copyright and all that. But so everyone's filling in it. The ceiling does not look that purple. This is white balance gone mad. It's actually quite blue. Not that you care. Conference is about to start. We're about to do the first stupid video that we spent ages on yesterday. No one needs to see that. No one. I just want to show you this. This is the corridor behind the conference room, and it is a hall of presidents and their partners. And it's all of them. So it literally starts down here with Washington. It goes all the way up, all the way down, and all the way back round. And you even get to the Orange Menace at the end. But unfortunately, because these are black and white, you can't tell quite how orange he is, which is disappointing. But you know, literally everyone, even Polk, Jimmy, Ronnie, a couple of Bushes and a Clinton. And look, here's the last president they had that actually knew how to do the job. Isn't that good? And here's hopefully the next one. Yay, I'm outside again and it's still light. I'm here 26 hours after I was last outside. Just going for a little wander, then we're meeting up and going for dinner. Look at that. It's Georgetown and it's... Oh yeah, we got 55 seconds, let's go. We've come out here for dinner. Found a little student bar place. Had some things, burgers and fries and whatnot. And now we're heading to try and find an Irish pub on the other side of the road. Down here somewhere. This is Georgetown, incidentally, which is apparently Washington's oldest district. So, according to Josh's Googling. That's quite fun. Back in the big room. There appears to be some awards being unwrapped. This is the last part of the day, and then we can pack up and relax, which I'm very much looking forward to, because I've been in this room or the room next door for the last 8 hours, a bit much. Welcome to Washington Dulles Airport. It is 7:30 in the morning. We've been up about 2 hours. It's dark. Well, we're underground, so it's definitely dark. The sun is just coming up. Very, very tired indeed. But theoretically, we'll be home in... Actually, what is the time, UK time? I don't know. We'll be home in like 10 hours or something. Yay, monorail. Welcome to Heathrow Terminal 2, the Queen's Terminal apparently, although I doubt she uses it. So we've arrived. Josh has got his bag and gone, which is impressive because he actually put his passport in his bag and then had to get his bag out when we were at the other end. So all things considered, the fact that he's got off first is cruel. We're still waiting around. Tammy's gone up to the gate to number 11 for oversize because we're waiting on the big case. I'm really tired. I didn't sleep much on the plane because 1, it was daytime, and 2, it was a plane, and I want to go home, but we can't go home until we've transferred all the equipment from the one bag to the other bag. Plus I'm be a bit harsh just to leave Tammy here, so I'm going to resolve this and then we're going to go home. That's the plan. Happy Thursday. It's afternoon. I'm back. I'm very happy to be back. Although Washington was very nice, although I didn't get out much. It's a place I'd like to go back to and sort of visit properly and do it in a more relaxed fashion. But it's very nice to be back because I'm so sick of American air conditioning. Like, it was literally everywhere I was air conditioned, and it just does horrible things to you. So back in the fresh air of England in spring. So although the blossom was out in DC, there's quite a cold nip in the air, and it's very grey back here, but it feels much more like spring. Magnolias are in full bloom, the blossoms are starting to come out, and some of the daffodils are actually over. But there's a warmth in the air. It's not warm by any stretch, but that sort of cold bite of winter is gone. Yesterday was the equinox, so it is technically spring today, and it feels like it, despite the greyness. My phone's taken a bit of a battering since I got it 2 weeks ago. I was just looking at the case. Lucky I've got a case. Right, I'm going to go for a little walk in queue. It's kind of my ritual whenever I get back from anywhere. Sort of ground myself, centre myself, think about what I need to do before the weekend. I've only been away 5 days and some sort of aliens landed. I don't know what it is. I'll probably find out soon enough. Look at the daffodils. Let's go and have a close up. Such a shame it isn't a blue sky, because look at the flowers on the top of that tree. They're remarkable. I guess I'll have to come back when the sun does come out, because that looks awesome. Right, daffodils, yeah. Side note, did you as a kid ever play the game It or Tag, or various other iterations, where basically one person has to try and chase everybody else and pass on the tag or what have you, and then that person chases everybody else? And broadly speaking, the basic rules were usually you'd set an area of play, be it a playground or what have you, and you'd have a home or a base or somewhere where you couldn't be caught, and you'd sort of run around, what have you, between one or more bases and people try and tag you. I'm sure you played some version of that, some iteration. Anyway, in the adult world, Q is my base. This is where I come when I've been running around. Just to have a bit of a breather, really. It's very nice. One of the actual reasons I wanted to come into Q is to see the cherry blossom. And it's mostly out. It's the stuff in Washington was like a hot pink colour. I don't think I've ever seen blossom like it. I don't know what kind of cherry tree it was, but this is more traditional in the English countryside. This sort of light pink. Looks great against the blue sky anyway. Last year I came up this way and I found that they'd planted a load of new fruit trees in an area that had really been sort of a bit empty before. And I think some of them are donated by the Japanese embassy in the UK, or it's something to do with some formal Japanese exchange program. Anyway, I said at the time, like, oh, well, there's not going to be a lot of blossom this year, but next year you know, they should come into their own. Now, admittedly, they're still very small and what have you, but I think once we get past these yew trees, you should see some of them. And they are indeed beginning to show. Yeah, here we go. So a few of them are still in bud, like this. But those white ones look really good. The magnolia obviously looks excellent. And then if you come down past these magnolias, there's another set. It's good for the soul, this. Yeah, it livens you up when you're feeling a bit tired, which is me today. I've been trying to think what to do as a word of the week, but America is the same in most languages with just slightly different spelling. So let's do blossom as the word of the week. Blossom is this week's word of the week. So first of all, in German, blossom is die Blüte. Die Blüte. And in Italian, it is il fiore. Il fiore is blossom in Italian. So that was blossom in German and Italian, and that was this week's word of the week. Hello, happy Friday. So I've just had a bit of a wander around Kew with James because he's back from Milan. I haven't seen him since Washington on Monday evening. Very surreal week it's been. And now I've got to go back home and finish a bit of work. Quick Brexit update, just for the historical records rather than because you don't know. Article 50's agreed to be extended by the EU27. So that means once the government has ratified that by having a bit of secondary legislation, we now will not leave the European Union on the 29th of March. We'll either leave on the 22nd of May if they approve, if there is another meaningful vote and it is approved. Chance of that is borderline zero. Or on the 12th of April, day after my birthday, if, at least I'll be European on my birthday, if they don't approve meaningful vote 3 and they don't have a plan. That's more likely. I think what's more likely still is that we won't leave at all on either of those dates. Time will tell.